Hey everybody, it's Cardboard Superheroes. I'm really excited because I have a big announcement to make. Pac-Man is getting inducted into the Comic-Con Museum Character Hall of Fame. And so in honor of this, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to create your very own Pac-Man. The Ghost from Pac-Man, and a Miss Pac-Man. The first thing to do is go to the Comic-Con Museum website and print out this template right here. For the supplies that you're going to need, if you actually look on the second page of your template, we have a supplies list, and it's things like cardboard Amazon boxes, hot glue gun, scissors, and tape. And under that, we have links to the supplies that we recommend to use. But of course, you guys can use whatever supplies that you guys have at home. And also on the template, we have reference pictures. This is pictures of the model you're going to build, which is the Pac-Man, Ghost, and Miss Pac-Man. And so you can just reference this just during your build so you know what you're going to be building. The first thing to do is to make a really rough cut on all of the pieces. What I mean by a very rough cut is to cut close to the black line, like as close as possible, without actually cutting on the black line. And so I'm going to show you an example of what I mean by that. And so for example, if I'm going to be cutting out the headpiece like this, as you can see, I'm not cutting on the black line, but I'm getting pretty close to it. And so this is what I mean by a very rough cut, and you're going to do this to all the pieces, and this is going to save you a lot of time, but also a lot of space. And so this is sort of what I mean by a very rough cut, and you're going to do this to all of the pieces. For those of you who are going to be making Miss Pac-Man, you guys are also going to cut out the Miss Pac-Man accessories, which is on the last page. And as you can see, some of the actual label pieces are on the outside of the actual piece that you're going to cut out. And so you're just going to cut out the label piece with the actual template piece. Now that you cut a very rough cut of all of your pieces, you're going to start taping it to your cardboard. And so when you guys are taping it to your cardboard, make sure not to put your pieces too far away from each other because you want to maximize the amount of cardboard you use. And you're just going to tape all of the pieces down. Now that you taped all of your pieces down, you're going to start cutting out all of the pieces. But before you start cutting, I'm just going to give you a few tips on how to cut out the body and also the bow piece, because these are the hardest pieces. And so first I'm just going to kind of cut out an outline of the body piece. So for this body piece, the hardest part are these almost like tentacle looking pieces at the bottom. And so the way to do this is you're going to start on one end. Doesn't matter which one, just one end. And you're going to start cutting along that curve. And so once you've cut to that curve, don't try to continue this way. Start in the middle of the second semicircle and cut towards the direction all the way down. And then you can take this piece out like that. And then you're going to again start from the middle. And you're going to cut to where the two semicircles meet. And then you're going to start in the middle and cut back here. And you're just going to follow this pattern. So this way, cutting out the body piece of the ghost is a lot easier. Kind of like that. And so at the end, it should kind of have that tentacle shape like that. And then the second piece that I'm going to show you guys is the bow piece. And this is only if you're going to be creating the Miss Pac-Man. And so the reason why the bow piece is challenging is because if you can see, there's a little like notch right there. Right where the edge of my scissors are pointing, there's like a little notch there. And so what you're going to do first is on this slope right here, you're gonna first cut that out. And then you're just gonna cut from the top straight down through that piece. So that you kind of get that snip sort of like that. And then you're gonna do the same thing for the other side. Like that, and then you're just gonna cut out this middle section. Sort of like that. And then you're gonna do the same thing for the bottom. So on the end, the bow piece should kind of look like that. And now that you guys know how to cut out all these two pieces in particular, you're just gonna go ahead and cut out the rest of the pieces. I laid out all of the Pac-Man pieces because that's what we're gonna build first. And so grab the two head pieces as well as the head wrap pieces. And so this head wrap piece is, like its name, gonna get wrapped around the head of Pac-Man. And so because of that, you're gonna wanna first curve this. And so to curve this piece, you're just gonna bring it to the very edge of the table and you're just gonna pull it down, sort of like this. So once you've curved it, it has that curved look like that. And so we're gonna start wrapping this around the head of Pac-Man. And you can kind of look at the pictures as well. I'm gonna look at the Pac-Man that I created earlier to sort of reference how it's gonna get glued around. Sort of like that. And so I'm first gonna start off with gluing about an inch of his head. So I'm gonna glue maybe about that far into his head. And then I'm gonna grab the head wrap piece and then I'm just gonna stick it on sort of like this. And make sure you meet it to the very edge of Pac-Man's head, like I did, like the very edge right there. Once it's all glued like that, you're gonna do the same thing, but to the other head, and you're just gonna glue it like that, and only about an inch. Once you glue those two pieces, it should kind of look like this. And now this part's a lot easier. You can just kind of fold this flat back, sort of like that. And you're just gonna glue, and you can glue as far as you want back on both sides, and then you can just kind of continue wrapping until you meet the other end. Once you guys finish gluing your head wrap, you may notice that your head wrap may be a bit too long. And so if that is the case, then you guys can just go ahead and snip off the excess. But if it fits perfect, then that's great. And then we're gonna move on to the next piece, which is the mouth. So you're gonna grab both of your mouth pieces, and you're gonna grab the mouth top piece, which is this piece right here. And then you're just gonna stick it on the inside of his mouth and glue it just like that. And then for the bottom piece, you're just gonna put it on the bottom of his mouth and glue it on just like that. That way you have Pac-Man. And you're just gonna glue both of these pieces on. Once you attach the mouth, it should look like this. The last piece for Pac-Man is the bottom stand, and of course this is optional, you don't have to have it. I like to have the stand on because It can, of course, stand up like that, but if you don't have it, it tends to just kind of roll around. And so I'm gonna attach the stand, but of course it's up to you. And so if you are gonna attach the stand, you're just gonna put a little dot of glue, not too big, just about there on the very bottom of Pac-Man. And then you're just gonna stick it on the stand. So once you've done that, you've created your very own Pac-Man. Now that you're done creating Pac-Man, you can either keep it as Pac-Man or you can turn it into a Miss Pac-Man. And so I'm going to show you guys how to turn it into a Miss Pac-Man. So you're going to grab the bow piece and also this square, which is supposed to be a bow attachment. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to get this bow attachment and glue it right in the center of the bow, just like that. Once you've created the bow, it should look like this, and I'm going to reference the other Miss Pac-Man I created, and I'm going to glue it roughly about there. There's no really exact spot, but just put it and estimate about where you think you would put it. After you've added the bow, you're also going to grab the eye. And then you're just going to glue it down, of course, where an eye would be, which is about right there. And finally, you're going to add this small, like, dimple piece. And then you're just going to put it a little under the mouth, the end of the mouth, which is about right there. Congratulations, you finished creating your very own either Miss Pac-Man or Pac-Man. Now that you guys have created that, I'm going to also teach you how to create the ghost from Pac-Man. Just like when we were creating Pac-Man, you're going to start off with the body piece and also the wrap piece. And so just like before, you're just going to take this piece, curve it, and you're just going to fit it around the top of his body like that. So once you've curved it, you can start gluing it to the body of the ghost. And just like before for Pac-Man, you're just going to start by gluing like 1 inch on both sides. Kind of like that. You're just going to glue both sides at the same time, and once you've done that, then you can go ahead and glue the rest. So once you guys have created that, just like before, you're going to fold this back, and then you're just going to continue gluing all the way around. Once you've glued on the entire wrap, it should end up looking like this, and the next thing that we're going to work on is to wrap the tentacles. So this is the most challenging part, and so I'm going to teach you guys how to do it. And so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to start off with one of the small bottom wrap pieces, and you're going to bring it to the edge of the table, and you're going to curve it. And make sure you're curving it on the short end, so it's getting curved on the short end right there. So once you've done that, you're going to really want to crush. You're going to kind of crush the cardboard as much as possible, just on one of the longer ends. So kind of like how I'm doing, I'm pushing it down really hard. That way you're able to stick it inside right there. Kind of where I stuck it in, just right there. And you're able to glue it and wrap it down like that. And so you're first going to just glue this one piece down. You're just going to glue it down like that. So once you glued that first tentacle piece down, you're gonna grab one of the large bottom wraps and you're gonna do the same thing where kind of like this, you're just gonna curve it so that it can wrap around this half semicircle piece, kind of like that. And you're gonna curve it on the short side again. And just like before, you're gonna crush both of the sides this time. So I'm gonna crush one of the sides and I'm also gonna flip it over and crush the other side. And before you glue this in, make sure you test it out to see if this is the right length. So I'm kind of gonna go like that, and you're gonna kind of have to work it around and kind of push it in. So for me, that seems like the right length, and so I'm gonna keep it like that. If yours is a little bit long, or a little bit long, you're just gonna want to snip some off like that. But once it's the right length, you can just start gluing it down. So once you've glued that piece down, you're gonna do the same thing with the large bottom wrap, and then you're gonna finish it off with the small bottom wrap the exact same way you did these two. Now that you're done with the tentacles, we're gonna finish it off with the eyes. So you're gonna grab the two eye pieces, which are the big oval shaped pieces, and you're gonna basically place these where you think the eye should be. And if you grab the body template, the paper template piece, you can kind of estimate, because there is the little dotted lines, you can kind of estimate where the placement of the eye should be. And so I'm estimating it to be about right there. Looks good. And so then I'm just gonna glue it down about right there. Once you've done that, it should look like this. So you're gonna grab the two eyeball pieces, and on the eye template, you can see the little outline of where the eyeball is supposed to be. And of course, I made this template to make it kind of look like he was looking down. But of course, if you guys want, you can make it so that he's looking up, sort of like that, or looking down the other way. And so it's up to you, but I'm just gonna put it near the bottom left corner of the eye. And you're just gonna glue it down there. Congratulations, everybody. You finished creating your very own ghost from Pac-Man. And now you have the set of 3 of Pac-Man, the Ghost, and of course, Miss Pac-Man. You can visit our website, which is cardboardsuperheroes.com. And if you guys want, you guys can take pictures of your build, post on Instagram, tag Cardboard Superheroes and the Comic-Con Museum. And so, congratulations for learning how to build your very own Pac-Man, Ghost, and Miss Pac-Man.